something unusual is happening inside one of the most powerful tech companies in the world. Engineers are not celebrating. They are not making bold promises. They are being careful. Because what they have just built might be the most advanced artificial intelligence system ever created. And even the people behind it are starting to realize something unsettling. This is not just another upgrade. This feels different. Deep inside Google, a new AI model has been quietly tested, not just for speed, not just for accuracy, but for something far more important: understanding. And what they are seeing is forcing experts to rethink what intelligence really means. At first, everything looked normal. The model was trained on massive datasets, just like previous systems. It was designed to answer questions, solve problems, generate content, and assist humans in complex tasks. Standard goals, familiar territory. But very quickly, the results started to stand out. In benchmark tests, the model was not just performing well, it was outperforming expectations in ways that seemed almost unnatural. It solved advanced reasoning problems faster than previous models. It explained complex scientific concepts with unusual clarity. It even handled ambiguous questions in ways that felt human, not perfect, not conscious. But something was clearly changing, and then came the moment that made researchers pause. The model was given a problem it had never seen before. No direct training, no similar examples. Just a completely new challenge. Instead of failing or guessing randomly, it broke the problem down step by step. It created its own internal structure, and then it solved it. That might not sound shocking at first, but in the world of AI, this is a big deal, because traditionally, models rely heavily on patterns they have already seen. They are incredibly powerful, but still limited by their training data. This system appeared to go beyond that. It was not just recalling information, it was reasoning. Now pause for a second. If a machine can take a brand new problem, analyze it, and solve it without direct training, what does that mean? It means we are entering a new phase of artificial intelligence. And that is exactly what researchers inside Google DeepMind have been working toward for years. The goal has always been ambitious. Build systems that can generalize knowledge across different domains. Not just specialized tools, but adaptable intelligence. Something closer to how humans think, and this new model might be a step in that direction. But here is where things start to get interesting. During internal testing, the model began showing signs of what researchers call emergent behavior. That means it started doing things it was not explicitly trained to do. For example, in one test, the model was asked to translate a rare language. It had very limited exposure to that language during training, and yet, it managed to produce a surprisingly accurate translation by combining patterns from other languages it knew. In another case, it was asked to explain a joke, not just repeat it. Not just define the words, explain why it was funny, and it did. That might seem small, but humor requires context, timing, and an understanding of human expectations. It is one of the hardest things for machines to grasp, and yet this system handled it better than many previous models. Now here is the moment where things shift. Researchers decided to test the model under pressure. They gave it conflicting information, incomplete data, scenarios where there was no clear correct answer. Instead of breaking down, the model adapted. It acknowledged uncertainty. It explored multiple possibilities. And in some cases, it even asked for clarification before proceeding. That last part is important, because it suggests something deeper than just pattern recognition. It suggests awareness of limitations, and that is not something traditional systems are known for. At this point, some engineers started using a word they had been avoiding: intelligence. Not in the human sense, not consciousness, but something that feels closer than ever before. And that is where the excitement begins to mix with concern. Because as these systems become more capable, the risks also increase. Think about it. An AI that can reason, adapt, and handle uncertainty is incredibly powerful. It can accelerate scientific discovery, it can improve healthcare diagnostics, it can optimize entire industries. But it can also make decisions in ways that are difficult to predict. And that brings us to one of the biggest challenges in AI today: alignment, making sure that these systems behave in ways that are consistent with human values. Inside Google, teams are already working on safety protocols, testing frameworks, ethical guidelines, because they understand something critical. The smarter the system becomes, the harder it is to fully control. And this is not just theory. There have already been cases where advanced AI models produced unexpected outputs, not harmful, not dangerous, but surprising enough to raise questions. Why did it respond that way? How did it arrive at that conclusion? Can we fully explain its reasoning? These are the kinds of questions that researchers are now asking every day, and the answers are not always clear. Now here is something that will make you think. For decades, humans have been the only known species capable of advanced reasoning, abstract thinking, and complex problem solving. That has always been our advantage, our identity. But what happens when machines start to share those abilities? What happens when intelligence is no longer uniquely human? That is the reality we are slowly moving toward, and this new model might be one of the clearest signs yet. But before we jump to conclusions, it is important to stay grounded. This system is not conscious. It does not have emotions. It does not have desires or intentions. It is still a machine, a very advanced machine, but still a machine. And yet the gap is closing, not completely, but enough to change the conversation. Now let me ask you something. If an AI can write better than most people, solve problems faster than experts, explain complex ideas more clearly than teachers, at what point does it stop being just a tool? That is the question no one can fully answer right now. And it is exactly why this development matters so much. Because we are not just improving technology anymore, we are redefining what intelligence looks like. And that has consequences far beyond tech. Education will change, jobs will evolve, entire industries will be reshaped. Some roles will disappear, new ones will emerge, and the pace of change is only accelerating. But here is the part that many people are missing. This is not just about competition between humans and machines. It is about collaboration. The most powerful outcomes will come from humans and AI working together, combining creativity with computation, intuition with analysis, experience with scale. That is where the real potential lies. But for that to happen, trust is essential, and trust comes from understanding. Which brings us back to the challenge. As AI systems become more complex, they also become harder to interpret. They operate in ways that are not always transparent, and that makes people uneasy, because we tend to trust what we can understand. So researchers are now focusing not just on making AI smarter, but making it more explainable, more aligned, more reliable. Because intelligence without control is not progress, it is risk. And this is where the story becomes bigger than just one company or one model. This is a global race. Companies like OpenAI, Microsoft, and others are pushing the boundaries of what AI can do. Each breakthrough builds on the last. Each advancement raises the stakes. And no one wants to fall behind. But at the same time, everyone understands the responsibility. Because the decisions made today will shape the future of this technology. And once it reaches a certain level, there is no going back. So where does that leave us? Right now, we are at a turning point. A moment where artificial intelligence is transitioning from powerful tool to something more dynamic, more adaptable, more intelligent. The model developed inside Google might not be perfect. It might not be the final step. But it is a clear signal. The direction is changing, the pace is increasing, and the gap between human and machine intelligence is narrowing. Not disappearing, but narrowing. And that is enough to change everything. So the next time you hear about a new AI breakthrough, do not just think about features or performance. Think about what it represents. Because behind every improvement is a deeper shift, a shift in capability, a shift in understanding, a shift in what is possible. And this latest development might just be one of the most important steps yet. The question is no longer whether machines can think. It is how far that thinking can go, and whether we are truly ready for the answer.